Hey everyone, Zombie Mama here. Thanks for joining me for another week of drama ramblings. I'm starting with the K2 today because why not? Once again, we have two very exciting episodes in which not a lot happens, which is pretty much how this drama goes all the time. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that each episode is centered around like one main event, or maybe not even an event, but just one main idea, and everything else that happens in that episode goes along with it, which is why like in episode 7 this week, we had a lot of focus on Anna and her dad. We got a lot of their backstory. Anna told us a lot of her story, where she was coming from, what she remembers about that last night with her mom. Talk about a heartbreaking story, by the way. Oh my gosh, this poor kid. No wonder she's so messed up. It's not just because she's been shipped off by her dad, but she had to deal with all of this trauma that her mother was going through, and the depression and alcoholism and all that. It just makes Anna that much more of a tragic character, which we already knew she was a tragic character, but now we just know why she's as messed up as she is. Also, this gives Jaya more reason to like her because now he knows her story more. He also knows a lot more about her dad and what position her dad is in. That whole conversation these two had in the car as they were talking about why the assemblyman can't be with his daughter and why he's really not avoiding her because he doesn't love her or like her. I don't know if the assemblyman actually knows how to love anyone other than himself, but he has some sort of feelings for his daughter, and he expressed that to Jaya and asked him to protect Anna from whatever crazy is going to come down the line as this progression towards him and the election, and will he become president, and Yujin being the psychopathic person that she is and her manipulation. The assemblyman knows that Anna suffers a lot at the hands of his wife. He also knows there's not much that he can do about it, because if he does step in, his wife is going to strike back with the vengeance. She's not afraid to kill people. We already know this. And the assemblyman knows this. He knows that if he shows any sort of real affection or concern for Anna, that his wife is going to use that against him and against her, and that's going to put her in a dangerous position. And now that Jaeha knows this, and he understands that this relationship is so much more complicated and twisted than he ever possibly imagined, he's agreed to watch over Anna and protect her. Not like he needed a whole lot of persuasion there. We already know that he has some sort of feelings for Anna. Are they romantic feelings? Are they feelings of sympathy? Are they feelings of duty? I think maybe it's a combination of all of this, and where it goes from there is just one of those fun things we get to watch develop as the story moves on. But we know that Jaeha has some sort of feelings for Anna, and that is why in episode 8 we're focused on his... Well, what does he do? He basically manipulates the entire world to bring Anna out into the spotlight. He knows that by keeping Anna hidden, she's in a much more precarious situation than she would be if she's out in the public side. The public has been searching for her thanks to that fashion designer guy in Madrid putting out the call to find his muse. And now that people realize that Anna is in Korea and she's out and she's accessible, Jaeha's using that to actually keep her protected, because like he told her, as long as she stays in the spotlight and as long as she is out there in the public's eye, Yujin can't touch her, which is really super important that Yujin can't touch her, because once she can, Anna's toast. And Jaeha knows this, and Yujin knows that Jaeha has just played her like, oh my gosh. The whole way he set this up, and he took out all of the assassins who were ready to shoot Anna in the head in front of all these people. Seriously? What is wrong with this woman? She has some serious issues, and I am not okay with this. However, it did make for some really great fight scenes. And maybe I'm crazy for saying this, but that last fight scene with Jaeha and the main assassin bodyguard guy, that was a way hotter fight scene than the shower scene. I know everybody's like, oh my gosh, that shower scene. Honestly, I can't watch that scene without just cracking up. It is too funny. But watching this fight scene where these two highly trained individuals are fighting each other, that was just a way better fight scene, in my opinion. Anyway, now that Anna is out in public and Jaeha has taken on the role of her protector, is it over dramatic to say that this changes everything? But it certainly changes Anna's life, because now she can be out. She can be where people see her. She has to be out where people can see her. It's not just, oh hey, I'm gonna go shopping because I can. It's, oh hey, if I don't go out and people don't see me, it means I'm dead. And I don't want to be dead. So let's go out And whatever crazy is going to happen, because you know crazy is going to happen with Anna being out in public, it's still going to be better than the crazy that would happen if she stayed locked up in that house forever. She needs to get out. She needs healing. She needs to go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, like the doctor said when Anna was in the hospital. She needs help to get over all of this trauma mentally, which totally makes sense. You don't suffer this much trauma without it leaving scars, and she needs someone to talk to and get that worked out. I don't think that's going to be a focus of this drama. There's too much other stuff going on. It would be nice if she got the help that she needed. In the meantime, she has Jae, who is an incredibly adorable person. Even if he can go out and kick someone's butt and kill people, he can still trip over his own feet while he tries to save her from falling off the roof. And oh my gosh, that scene was so adorable. Oh, it made my heart so happy just to watch those two together and his little smile. And I really need to stop or I will start fangirling like crazy. And we probably don't need to go there. Needless to say, I enjoyed this week's episodes of the K2. I also, before we leave this one, just need to say that this evil assemblyman who's looking into Jae and his connection with Yoojin and what's going on there, and the fact that he uncovers Jae's true identity and that he's tied in with Blackstone, and the way they left him just laughing like that, all evil and terrible. This is gonna suck really bad because you know he's gonna use this to cause trouble. And even though I'm not worried about Jae, and I'm certainly not worried about Yoojin, I am worried about how this is going to affect Anna. Because Jae is showing that he likes Anna, and you know that Yoojin is going to use that like to manipulate the situation because she knows what happened during Blackstone and that whole loss of a love. This is going to come back to haunt us, and it's going to suck really bad. There's nothing we can do about it but just kind of take a deep breath and move on. Which, since we're talking about things that suck, let's talk about on the way to the airport, because the way things were left in these last two episodes, episodes 7 and 8, talk about being stuck in a sucky place. My heart hurt so much for Suah this week because we left her making this decision. It was the decision she knew she was going to have to make, but she dreaded making it. And you knew this was going to come eventually. Even knowing that this moment was going to come, it still hurt so much to watch it. Because there she is, and she's watching, you know, the woman hang out the comforters and living her nice, cozy, stay-at-home mom life. And Suah realizes that this is what I have to do now. And she makes the call to the airport and says, I can't make the flight and I'm turning in my resignation. And that's where we leave it. And my heart is just broken. It is so hurting for Suah. Because to make this decision doesn't just mean that she's giving up her career. She's giving up her life as she knows it. She's sacrificing everything that she is and everything that she's ever done to stay home. It's like she's giving in not only to the pressures of society to you need to be a stay-at-home mom, but also of her husband who doesn't want her working, but then he does want her working because he wants the income. And the struggles with the school, making her feel guilty for not being an active mom, and all of this crap that she has been dealing with. And she finally gives into it all, and she makes that phone call, and she knows that that is the end of her career. That's the end of life as she has known it. And my heart is just so broken for her because I have been in that situation. I have given up careers to be at home, and I know that even as a stay-at-home mom, that doesn't make life any easier. You just deal with a whole new set of struggles and decisions and difficulties, and then you get to add on to that the whole struggle of who am I actually as a person, because I no longer have a career that helps me identify who I am, and I am just stuck with these people. On the upside, she only has one kid, and her kid is old enough to be in school, so she at least has, time for herself. But this does not make the decision to stay home any easier. It doesn't make life any easier for her at all. It just brings on a whole new set of problems. Now that she's home, she's going to have to deal with her husband's crap, because you know that Captain Park is going to give her all kinds of nonsense for quitting her job, even though that's what he really wanted her to do, because that's just the kind of jerk he is. And then she has to deal with her daughter and trying to get her daughter settled into this new school life and deal with these bullies. And I'm really actually very upset with her daughter at the moment. I know she's a kid, and kids are bratty sometimes, but this kid has made life for her mom even more difficult which I guess that's what kids do. I get that, okay? I have 4 kids, I know, but I'm still not happy with her daughter and the way that she just decided to quit going to school and just stay home and sulk and throw fits and then make that desperate call to her mom, where is everybody? Where is everybody? Why am I home alone? After she insisted to her parents that she could stay home alone, and now she's like, no, I can't. That annoys me. Ugh, children. Still. All of this that Suha has to deal with, and the mother-in-law, can't even go there, shouldn't go there. Let's just say that Suha has a lot of crap that she has to deal with, and so she caves to this pressure, and now she's going to be a stay-at-home mom, which I suppose that may give her more chances to be with Do-woo, but let's not even go there. Let's instead talk about how crappy Do-woo's life is, because Suha can't suffer alone. Do-woo has to have his own set of nonsense, which drives him and Suha into their relationship, obviously. So, how crappy is his life? Well, he's married to Haewon, and that right there is enough to make any man want to go jump off a bridge. Heck, I want to go jump off a bridge, and I'm not even married to her. She's just evil. Inside and out, upside down and backwards. This woman is obsessed with nothing but herself. She is trying to use the death of Do-woo's mother to create this brand that she's been pushing for that nobody wanted. She wants this business, she wants this position, she wants this power, she wants this money, she wants everything in the world, and she doesn't care who she hurts to get it. Even if she's hurting her husband. Honestly, the more we learn about Haewon and her relationship with Annie, I'm really think that she brought Annie in as a way to get Do on her side. She knew that Do has a soft spot for people who are struggling and trying to find their way in life, which I think she brought Annie in to make her life more pathetic, or to make her life seem more pathetic, because she knew that he would gravitate towards that and try to help, and then a relationship could build from there. I think Haewon is a master manipulator, and I think she is completely capable of using her own child, whom she never even claimed as her own, like not even registered on the family registry, but then she'll bring her in when she needs her to get what she wants out of Do-woo, and then ships her off to Malaysia. You know, we know what happens from there. So Do-woo has to deal with his crappy wife, but he also has to deal with his flaky business partner disappearing, runs off to Australia, and then comes back to tell Do-woo, oh hey, we're done with this business and you need to be out of your office tomorrow. Who does that? That is not how you run a business. No wonder your business is falling apart if this is how you act. This woman is a child and supremely annoying, so it makes sense that she's friends with Haewon. But this leaves Do-woo struggling to figure out his wife, trying to figure out what the heck he's gonna do now that his business has crumbled and he needs to move out. And on top of that, he gets this notice from, is it the museum curator? I'm not sure what role this person is other than tattling on Haewon. Anyway, whatever her role is, she steps up and tells Do-woo, hey, there are about 1 million people out here who want to take away your 100-year-old family home because it's a historical treasure, and if you don't step up and claim it and do what you have to make sure it stays in your name, I'm going to take it from you. Because Do doesn't have enough crap to deal with, let's just throw everything in the world at him at the same time. Let's take away everything he's ever loved. He's lost his daughter, he's lost his mom, he's lost his business, and now he's gonna lose his house? I get that this drama has to portray these people's lives as terrible, because if they weren't terrible, why would they go off and have an affair? But it doesn't mean it's any less painful to watch these people suffer. I am so sad for both Suha and Do-woo. Their lives are falling apart and they're struggling. They're trying to do what they can to get through it. So, of course, it makes sense that they would turn to the one person in the world who doesn't make their life more difficult than it already is. However, now that their relationship has gone from 3 no's and let's just talk on the phone to 2 no's and a whole lot of doing things other than talking on the phone, this has just gotten a lot more complicated. And now this relationship is going to add to the stress of their already stressful lives. And you know that's going to happen because that's how all of these affair dramas go. It has to be stressful and things have to be as messed up as they possibly can be, because no one can write a drama and make it say it's okay to have an affair. It's just not going to happen. Because come on, it's not okay to have an affair. We all know this. Still, we're watching this drama, and we're cheering for Suha and Do as they try to get together, because that's the one place where they're happy, and everybody deserves to be happy somewhere. I know, it's messed up, but that is how these dramas go, and that's how we feel when we watch these dramas. Why? I don't know. We know that eventually this relationship between Suha and Do is going to end up being a no-no. Which is kind of funny because we know that this affair is a no-no, but it's going to end up being, there's not going to be any restrictions as their relationship progresses. The restrictions that they've set up, we've already lost one of them. Now we're down to 2. You know that we're going to eventually be down to 0. What happens when we get to that point? It's kind of hard to say. All of these lives, there are a lot of lives entangled in all of this nonsense at the moment, and how they're going to be affected as this affair grows and this relationship grows. Are they going to all be ruined? Will some of them be saved? Will there be some sort of... I don't think you're going to get a happy ending out of this drama. That just seems ridiculous. But can people part amicably and move on with their lives? I mean, it's not like Captain Park deserves any sort of happy ending. The guy is a sleazeball, and this whole relationship that he has with his wife's friend, we knew that they were lovers before, but he's still hitting on her, and he's still going out for drinks, and he's still calling her his, like, away from home wife. Okay, Scumball doesn't deserve a happy ending. Joe's wife doesn't deserve a happy ending. I can see the argument that Do and Sua also don't deserve a happy ending, because what affair should ever end in a happy ending? There's going to be a whole lot of not happy endings here. I think we're just going to have to be prepared and okay with that, and then just keep watching anyway, knowing it's going to cause a lot of pain for everyone, including ourselves. Thus, the complicated relationship we have with dramas based around affairs. Speaking of complicated relationships, let's talk about this crazy that is happening in Jealousy Incarnate. Episodes 15 and 16, they started out so well. That kiss, holy buckets, that was a good kiss. That was an incredible way to start episode 15. I was all for that. Go for it, man. Makeout session, stop my breath, stop my heart. Oh, I think I fell off the couch at one point, and then everything falls apart. And not just like the little cracks here and there. It's called a whole bunch of crazy nonsense. And I'm sitting here going, why the heck am I watching this? Why does it get this crazy? Because Nari decides that she's gonna make out with Hwashin. She admits that she has feelings for him, but then she feels guilty for those feelings, runs off right after that amazing makeout session, goes to see Jongwon, tells him, I love you, let's break up. Meanwhile, Hwashin is standing there going, I just heard you say you love him. Of course, he had to walk away before he heard the let's break up part. So then he throws his giant fit when Nari comes to find him to tell him the exact same thing. I love you, but let's break up. He's like, how do I break up? We haven't even done anything yet. Doesn't matter. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense, and everything goes downhill from there. Because now we have Jongwon and Hwashin fighting over Nari. Nari is trying to figure out her feelings for both. She knows that she has feelings for both. She's admitted that she loves both men, and she can't figure out what to do with that. So it's just a whole lot of crazy. And then 6 months later, it doesn't get any better. Nothing changes. Nari has her position as the announcer. Hwashin comes back to work. Jongwon comes back from wherever the heck he was. Was he like backpacking in Europe or something? He came back looking like a bum. And his mom immediately throws him into this whole arranged marriage thing that's been going on for forever. It's like things have changed in their lives, but nothing important has actually changed. Nari is still trying to tell herself that her feelings for both Hwashin and Jongwon are beyond her now. And she's out going on all these arranged dates for other people in the office. She is not happy. Jongwon and Hwashin aren't happy. Nothing is settled. Nothing's been resolved. Everything in these people's lives suck. They're making the entire drama suck because everything is so screwed up and no one can figure out what they're doing. Both guys still love Nari. Nari still has feelings for both guys. The only upside to these 2 episodes was the whole pasta reference that went on when she was on that blind date. That was funny, and I very much enjoyed that, but I needed that little bit of happy to get through these 2 episodes because there's just so much crazy. And then the whole suggestion that Nari should date both of these guys at the same time. What is that? That's not going to solve anything. That's not going to make anything better. You don't go out and date 2 guys at the same time. She's tried to break up with them. They won't let her walk away because they don't want to walk away. So everything is stuck in this ridiculously sticky and frustrating mess of nonsense. And ultimately, Nari decides, let's just all live together. Because that's going to solve anything? These 2 men have thrown away their lifetime friendship, haven't talked to each other in 6 months. Nobody's talking, and whatever they do say, nobody listens to it. So nothing progresses and nothing changes. And being in this three-way relationship and saying, oh, hey, let's all just live together and then I'll figure out which one of you I like better, that does not solve anything. That's only going to make things worse. Needless to say, there is a lot of frustration from this drama. It's causing me a lot of stress. Is that the right word? Maybe? I don't know. It's just, I was very disappointed to see that Nari and Hwashin and Jungwon, their relationship and that whole mess that it is very similar to the way that Red's mom's and their relationship with Uncle Rock has gone. Even in this 6-month progression, nothing has changed with these three. Uncle Rock is still there. He still comes in as the hero anytime these two women need a light bulb changed or a bug squashed or whatever. But it's still very frustrating, their whole relationship. And Uncle Rock's idea to, hey, I'll date both of you at the same time. I guess I should have seen that coming. Like, I should have expected that something similar and more messed up would show up with Nari and Hwashin and Jungwon. How is this going to be resolved before this drama ends? We have 2 more weeks worth of episodes, I believe. I'm pretty sure these next 2 episodes are going to be just as crazy and confusing as these last 2, and I am not really looking forward to it, but I'm going to get through this one and make it to the end. So I will just suck it up and deal with it. However, I need there to be some sort of resolution here. This whole dating 2 people at the same time and living together, that is not going to solve anything, and it's just going to make things crazier than they already are, and I really need that to not happen. I need someone to have a happy ending. I don't even care which of the 2 guys at this point gets their happy ending. Honestly, I think it would be best if they both move on and find somebody else, and Nari goes on and finds somebody else, and they all 3 find their own happy endings completely separated from each other. I think that would be the best way for this to end. But is that how it's going to happen? I don't know. We have 4 more episodes until we find out. Frustration really seems to be a common theme this week. Complicated relationships are one of them, and frustration is another. And that is how I would sum up this week's episodes of Drinking Solo. I was very much annoyed with Professor Jin this week as he decides, yes, I do actually like Hana. Yay, I will admit that. But then, he decides that coming on this strong is the best way to win Hana's affections. I seriously need to ask how a man who is supposed to be rather intelligent can come up with a conclusion such as this. He has spent the entire time he has known Hana acting like a total jerk. So why would he think that buying her coffee or a cheesecake would suddenly make up for all of that time that he treated her like dirt? I do admit that he had a moment of reflection and changed his tone a bit, but that moment only came after Hana straight up told him, you are a jerk, you have no heart, you deserve the title of premium trash because that is exactly what you are. It took her flat out saying this to his face for him to realize that yes, he is a total idiot and the world's biggest jerk. And if anyone is ever going to like him, not just romantically, but in any sort of relationship, he is going to have to change his ways. I would like to think that hearing this from Hana herself will be enough to make Professor Jin reevaluate his life. We did get a look at his backstory and why he has become the premium trash that he is. And it is something that I can understand. I mean, it is a reasonable story and does explain well why he's become so cold and jaded and the awful person that he is. That still doesn't excuse the way he has been treating Hana. His whole trying to come off as better than her, and he did everything that he's done to hurt her on purpose. We know that. He dressed up in all those great clothes and said all those things about his ideal woman in front of her to make her realize that she's not good enough for him. So why does he think that coffee and a cheesecake is going to undo all that? I have no idea. What I do know is that Hana isn't quite as spineless and ridiculous as I have believed her to be, because she did stand up to Professor Jin. she did tell him, "This is who you are, and I can't stand to be around it, so go away." I applauded her for that. I was super happy that she finally was able to stand up for herself. I was also super happy with her because she finally came to a point where she could admit that if she were to be with Gongmyung, she could at least be happy. I loved that they got to spend some quality time together this week. It was kind of sad that he had to be hit by a motorcycle for him to get the attention from her that he deserves, but hey, it's Dramaland. We know people get hit by stuff all the time, so at least he was able to spend some time with her. They were actually able to have a very good conversation about how he understands and recognizes that the promise that Hana made to him to consider dating him should he graduate was actually just motivation for him to study harder. Gongmyung has admitted that the reason he is studying and working so hard to get through his classes and pass this test is not so much because he wants Hana to date him afterwards, but because he wants to prove to Hana that he's willing to do whatever he can to prove himself worthy. Kind of lame to say worthy, but he just wants to prove how sincere he is in his feelings for her. He's not just working hard and trying to pass his exams because he knows that if he does, Hana will date him at the end. He's doing it because he wants her to see that he is willing to put in the work required to make this relationship work. He's serious about her. He doesn't just like her as some fling. I mean, he's willing to give up his friends and his free time and actually work really, really hard on passing this test. And I like that Hana has been able to admit that he is at least someone worthy of consideration, that he's not just some punk kid out there having fun. He seriously likes her. He seriously wants to be with her, and he's willing to do whatever it is he has to do to make this relationship work. And I love that about him. He is the cutest little munchkin ever. I love that Hana can admit to herself now that should she decide to be with him, she could at least be happy because he is a warm, caring individual who is willing to put all of himself out there to do what he can to make her happy. And that is super cute. I think that was a really great place for them to be. I just wish that happy moment could have lasted longer, because honestly, I still like Gongmyung about 10,000 million times more than I like his stupid brother. That being said, we all know that Hana will never choose Gongmyung over Professor Jin. Her heart went to Professor Jin first, and it's just a matter of time before they work things out. And of course, her hearing Professor Jin's backstory and how tragic it was and how he's been hurt and that's why he's all calloused, of course that's going to warm her heart and make her forgive him. They did have some conversation, and so I guess I'm okay with them getting together, but Professor Jin is going to have to work really, really hard to reach the level of his little brother, and I don't know how he's gonna reach that. If he ever will reach that, I don't know. Jerky male drama leads tend to stay jerks even after their reformation. We'll just have to see how this one goes, I guess. I have hopes, but they're not high because I'm probably going to be disappointed if I set my hopes too high, and I know that, so I'm just gonna let things go as they are and just enjoy all of the cuteness that are the kids, the students in this drama. Seriously, they are the reason I keep watching. They are so adorable. And Ki this week, oh my gosh, Ki and Jo Kwon. I laughed so hard I cried. They're the most brilliant duo. They need their own comedy together. Can you imagine? That would be so fantastic. Oh my gosh. Someone please make this happen. Apart from Ki and Jo Kwon, Ki on his own as a character, he really needs to own up to his feelings. It breaks my heart that Ki has all these feelings for Cheon, but he won't admit them. Instead, he's playing the stupid jerky role and being mean to her on purpose because he can't admit that actually he likes her. He knows he likes her, but he doesn't want the whole world to know he likes her because he doesn't want to suffer rejection again. So he does all this stuff behind the scenes, and of course Cheon is still falling for Gongmyung because how could you not fall for him? He's adorable. I think he would stand a much better chance with her if he would stop being such a jerk. Will he learn this lesson? Will he stop being a jerk? I doubt it, and he's probably going to suffer a lot for it because he's going to watch his girl fall for his friend, and of course he knows his friend is not interested in Cheon at all, but she doesn't know that. It's going to be very painful, and I really like that Dong-young sees all of this happening. He can see this love square, triangle, whatever shape this is. He sees this complicated mess forming, and he feels sorry for Key because there's nothing he can do about it, because Key refuses to own up to his feelings. And until he does, and until he admits that to this girl, it's gonna hurt. And I'm not okay with that, because Key should never have to have a broken heart, even if it is a drama character. But again, crazy fangirl talking. Let's move on. Okay. I dread the day that Gong-myung realizes Hana has fallen for his stupid brother. You know this is going to come. The previews, I don't like to hold stock in previews, but you saw it happen anyway, so you know it's coming. It was inevitable. It is inevitable. Hasn't happened yet, but it will, and you know this, and it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. I'm going to wish I could go give Gong-myung hugs, and I can't, because it's a stupid drama, and not real life, and I'm not in Korea. Dang you, oceans! Still, moving on, because I'm crazy. I dread that day. I dread the next episodes of Moonlight Drawn by Clouds almost as much. Actually, I probably dread them more, because you know these next 2 episodes of Moonlight Drawn by Clouds are going to be painful. These are the next to the last episode. The penultimate episodes are coming up this week. You know they're going to be incredibly painful, because these last 2 episodes, episodes 15 and 16, sucked. They were just rip my heart out and make me cry 1,000 tears. Painful. It was awful. It's bad enough that we had to watch the prince and Raon be separated, and all their heartbreak and the sadness and the woe is me and oh I miss them, but I'm gonna stay apart because I know it's for the better for the other person, even though it's killing me. And we had to deal with that. And then they get together, and that's where we pick up, is them together. Meeting, and you know the meeting was set up, and they're trying to trap the prince as a traitor, and of course Raon gets out, and that's fine, but then they end up coming back together, and they meet up a second time, and that scene, that bracelet, that broken bracelet is my heart, just so you know. When Raon pulled that knife out on the prince, and she just spewed all of this nonsense, and the prince just stood there taking it, because he told her that whatever lies she told him in this room, he would believe them. So she comes back with that knife and all those stupid lies, and she broke the prince's heart, and that bracelet the beads went scattering everywhere, and that was my heart. It's gone. It's 1,000 million pieces of broken nothingness, and it's all because of this stupid drama. Why? Why are they doing this? Why did they make it so painful when it used to be so cute? It's not fair. It's not fair. Okay. Let's talk about this drama. Okay? I need to stop saying dramas are predictable. I have learned my lesson, okay? Because last week I said this drama was predictable and you knew how it was going to end, and then her dad shows up. And all of that predictability just went flying out the window because I did not expect her dad to show up. I thought the man was dead. And he's not. So he shows up, he breaks Raon's mom's heart all over again because he goes and gets himself arrested. Like right off the bat. I'm like, dude, why did you bother to come out of hiding when it just meant you were going to end up in jail 3 seconds later? That doesn't make sense. If you wanted to meet up with Raon and her mom, you should have waited until they ran away to safety and then go meet them in whatever that safe place is. Not while they're being hunted by everyone. What is wrong with the writers? Oh my gosh, this is so frustrating. So, Raon, who has never met this man in her life, decides that she needs to break into the palace. The one place she should never be. To go meet with the man she's never met because he's her dad? Where is the logic in this? She should be angry and bitter and resentful towards the man who ruined her life and every chance of happy, normal living that she could ever possibly have. She should not be sneaking into the palace prison to go visit him, but that's what she does? And of course she gets caught while she's in the palace. She's in the freaking palace. This is not the place to hide when you're a fugitive. Have I mentioned how frustrated I am? So, we have Raon sneaking into the palace. Meanwhile, the prince, with his broken heart and his buying of lies, is on the verge of getting married. Because that's gonna solve all the problems. Thankfully, the king has an utter breakdown and puts a halt on the wedding because the prince has to run to the aid of his dad. And, yeah, I could have slapped the prince for being so okay with this marriage. I know they had their arrangement and their deal, But man, you enter into this marriage and your chances with Ron are gone forever. Not like you had many chances anyway, but you're just shooting them all in the foot. And it's like, just so frustrating. However, we do have a bright spot in Yoon Sung and his one-upping the queen. Oh my word. He has been on to her, and so now he gets to make his move and his big power play, and he goes up to the queen and is like, you back off, because if you don't, I'm going to tell the whole world that you gave birth to this little baby princess and you switched her out for this handmaiden's son. The queen is now being manipulated by Jin Young, and that just makes me so happy. I want to dance. I love this kid. Yoon Sung is like, he's smart. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to play this system. And of course he should, because, you know, he's the grandson of the prime minister. But still, he is not letting anybody get the better of him. And he is doing everything that he can to help Raon, because he loves her and he actually knows how to handle a situation. Unlike the prince, who just goes around moping a lot and breaking bracelets and going off to get married and whatever. Still, he's the prince. He's doing his princely thing. He's even trying to help Ron meet up with her dad, which is very admirable of him, I guess. I mean, he's still letting Ron walk into danger, which is something he's done this entire time. This entire drama has been a lot of him leaving her in dangerous positions. Not so much because he wants her to be hurt, but because he's selfish. He's the prince. He's convinced the whole world revolves around him. And even in conversations that he's had with Rowan's dad about what they want for the future and the kind of world that they want to live in. And he's trying to come around, you know, to this more, enlightened thought about politics and the way the world should be run. And he has his head on in the right spot, but then there's still a lot of his actions, this entire drama has been about him being of the center of the universe, because he wants to be the center of Rowan's universe. And it's cute, and it's made for a lot of cute moments for them. But it has also put Rowan in a lot of very difficult situations, and yet again she's in them, and he's helping her with, you know, sneaking her in to talk to her dad and whatnot. And of course she's going to be there, and she's going to be caught when her dad is taken in for investigation. And you know this investigation is not going to go well. And you know, the secret White Cloud people, whatever they are, they have their plans to get Ron and her dad out of the palace. They're foiled by the king moving up his timetable and saying, interrogate them right now. And so the prince is there watching, and he can't do anything. And Ron has been caught by the prime minister's people, and she's being brought in and used to manipulate. She's not manipulated in the situation, but people are manipulating her and using that to manipulate the situation and make this investigation go terribly bad. And then the secret society shows up, and all these swords are drawn, and we are left here with Byung-young pulling his sword out, and then he turns it on the prince. And you see the look in the prince's eyes of astonishment and the betrayal and the hurt, and I can't believe you're doing this to me, and I can't believe I'm watching the love of my life and her father almost be put to death, and now you turn your sword on me. And this is just a terrible place to end this drama. I mean, it's a great place because it's going to make us come back and watch more, but the emotional damage this drama is doing to me is not nice. Okay? I may never recover. And honestly, I can say the exact same thing about Scarlet Heart this week. Oh my word. Can we just talk about how disappointing this ending was? Why leave it here? Okay, don't answer that. I know why you left this here. But seriously, we have to watch Un and his wife in this horrible place, and you know they're going to be killed. And I probably shouldn't worry too much about that, because princes in this drama have an uncanny ability to come back to life, which I'm not going to complain about, because maybe we can use this to our advantage if anything goes wrong with So one of these days. Better not, by the way. But if it did, at least we know he could probably come back to life, because Yo did. Sure, it took him 2 years, but you knew he was going to come back, didn't you? I did. He couldn't be dead. You can't have an evil villain like that be dead. And of course he's not, because So is a softie, and he just couldn't kill his brother. So, you know, he sliced him in the abdomen, but apparently not bad enough to actually kill his brother. And even that fall off the cliff didn't kill him, because he's probably made of rubber. Whatever. So, 2 years have passed since we last left this drama. I just need to say that I'm incredibly disappointed with how undeveloped these characters are. 2 years have gone by, and nothing about them has changed. Nothing in this world has changed at all in 2 years. Except Yo comes back from the dead and overthrows the king. We knew that the king was going to be overthrown eventually. We thought Yo was dead, but he's not, so he makes a very convenient bad guy to come back and actually hold this coup. But he did not do it alone. Oh no. Our lovely Prince Wook, the weasel that he was last week, has now been promoted to Snake. He is evil in every sense of the word, and I cannot stand him in the least. He murders his brother, which is bad enough. But how does he go about murdering him? He poisons him for 2 years with mercury. Are you freaking kidding me? Out of all the ways to kill your brother, slowly poisoning him over the course of 2 years. Of course Wook would do that. He is evil. And that whole scene with him telling his brother to abdicate the throne to him, and then turning around the next second and being like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. You misunderstood me. There is no misunderstanding of you, Wook. You are a slime ball. What really bothers me about Wook, I don't have a problem with his being evil because I never liked him to begin with. The problem is that he still refuses to own up to his own actions. He is constantly blaming other people for his evilness, and he can't keep doing that, okay? If you're going to be evil, be like Yo and own it. We know that Prince Yo is evil. He has demonstrated his evilness from the very beginning. And that's okay. We like that about him because we know that he is black-hearted and terrible and that he's going to come back and kill his brothers. We've known that from the very beginning, so his returning from the dead didn't even come as that much a surprise. Because you know a man with this much of an evil agenda is going to find a way to carry it out, even if it means he has to come back to life. I know that he didn't really come back to life because his uncle saved him and, you know, that whole soul holding back and whatever. He's not dead, so he's here to exact revenge and take the throne, which he does. Wook, on the other hand, is constantly working in the background. He puts on one front and does something else different behind. He is the ultimate sneaky snake. He is constantly playing every side, trying to gain the trust of everyone who might be in power so that he can betray them all later. And that is why he is such a dangerous and awful person. It's not because he flat out exclaims to the world, I am Wook and I am evil. It's because he puts up a front and says, I will help you, and let's work this out together, and let's make this happen. And meanwhile, I'm going to poison you with mercury for years. No one should be okay with this. Just saying. The fact that Wook is still blaming Sue for his actions after 2 years have passed, and she has apparently cut off all ties with him. Like, she has nothing to do with him. If she harbors any feelings for him still, I'm gonna have to write her off as completely useless. However, I don't think that's the case because we did see her and her relationship with So and how it has grown over 2 years. I do have to admit that I am very disappointed with the way that they are showing the progression of Sue and So's relationship. For an OTP to get this little screen time together is very, very frustrating. Because you know we are all watching this drama hoping that they will have moments as beautiful and intense and romantic and passionate as anything that Sue and Wook had at the very beginning. We had so much time spent with these two in a relationship that was going to fall apart eventually. And yet we have Sue and So, our OTP, and they are getting no time together. We're just supposed to imagine what happened between them over the course of these 2 years and be okay with them reaching a level of maturity in their relationship where they can actually sit down and talk to each other about their frustrations and their gripes and work it out. I mean, it's great that they can have that kind of relationship, but it's very unsatisfying as a viewer to watch this and not have the satisfaction of watching those moments that brought them together. Even that scene with So and Sue and the boat, and you know that So was going to confess, but because he had to step up and marry the poor little princess to save her from being shipped off, and I'm trying to get sidetracked here because there's so much to talk about. Well, let's stay with the boat. And that lack of a confession in the boat was very frustrating because we've never actually had any time where Sue and So can be together and be like, yes, I love you, and admit it, and we need that confession. I think that's just something... It's one of those moments that, like, defines a relationship, and we haven't had that moment like Sue and Wook had a moment like that where they confessed that they liked each other, and that's what made their relationship solid and it seemed very firm. We don't have that with Sue, and so they're rushing so much through the timeline of this story that we're missing out on this developing relationship between the two. And you know the relationship has developed because they can talk about So and his marriage to the princess and how it was to save her, and she can understand that and forgive him for that, and they can work through that. And you see little bits of them while they're like in the palace together and they're kind of teasing each other off and on. But even that, it's not satisfying as a drama viewer to see our OTP with so little time together and so little development in their relationship. I mean, we get more with the other princes and their relationships or their developing crushes on Sue, Prince Jung, and his whole, I love her. That was super cute, but at the same time, weren't we all just going, where did this come from? It's like, you know that they've been friends all this time, but Jung's been off fighting pirates and becoming a general, and there's not been a lot of interactions, so it seems like very much a stretch to see yet another prince falling for Sue. And really, the fact that he's falling for her makes me wonder if he's going to end up being dead, or mostly dead, because it seems like every prince who has any sort of romantic interest in Sue at some point ends up dead, or hurt, or otherwise in danger. I mean, look at Prince Un and his wife. They are hiding. This is not Sue's fault. We know this. We know that with Yo coming into power, he's going to be taking out anyone who might be a threat, and he has a lot of brothers. Even though Un is like the most non-threatening out of the entire group, his family is, and that power, and so that's why Yo goes after them to take him out, because there's no competition there. It makes sense. It's just very sad to see that Un and his wife have to go into hiding in Jesus' room, of all places. And even then, after all this time has passed, their relationship is still very disappointing. I'm just very disappointed in Un and the way that he's been treating his wife. He doesn't see her as an equal. He doesn't see her as anyone who might actually be someone who can make his life better, until right now, at the very end, when they have the moment together and they have that whole little sweet time with the boat races and the little towel figures and that one little kiss. Which, side note, if little wifey poo thinks that I just couldn't buy that whole thing about the wife and, oh my gosh, getting kissed is how I get pregnant, you cannot make me think that she is that naive. Especially not since she has grown up as a general's daughter and has been on the battlefield like most of her life. Okay, we know what goes on in ancient battlefields, okay? We know that women were present. You cannot tell me that she was naive enough to not know how babies are made. I'm just saying. That was ridiculous, even for a drama. Come on. Anyway, to leave her and her husband at the end being hunted down by Yo, that's terribly wrong. Okay? You have picked like the two most adorable and innocent people in this entire drama, and you're gonna kill them for no reason except your stupid hunger for power? That's not right! What did we do to deserve this? I guess we stuck around and watched this drama. That's what we did. But we can't help ourselves, because even if we have unsatisfying OTP time on screen, there's still so much in this drama that drives us back. And it's not just Sue and So, even though that is like a very huge draw, and we all can admit that. But how is Wook gonna continue to be evil? He just gets worse and worse with every episode. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of princes that are going to start really struggling for power. Jung has cut himself off from pretty much everybody because he's disappointed in his brothers, and now he's falling for Sue. There's just a lot of complicated mess that we don't really get a lot of time to deal with because they are rushing so quickly through the timeline that the story is not being developed as well as it could be, and they're focusing so much on the cute moments like with Un and his wife, but that's not really helping to push the story along. I mean, it's a cute little side story, but how is that going to play into the bigger picture? It seems like an awful misuse of time, which is, this is just me as, the critical side of me. I love this drama. I love so much about it, but I do wish that we weren't being pushed so quickly through time. We are losing out on development of characters and important plot points, and that is just sad because there's so much more that that we love in this drama. That's why we keep coming back to it. It's sad to be disappointed like this in other areas. At the same time, I can never be completely disappointed in this drama just because Prince So is there. Okay, fangirl taking over yet again. Just the fact that I get to watch him makes me happy. I just wish that the story itself had a little bit more strength to it. Something a little more solid to be going off of, because the pushing and the leaving out of important plot bits and character development, you're starting to feel it more, especially now as we're getting into the later episodes. It's not as satisfying as it could be, and I think that is what's bothering me, because we're not living, but this drama is set in such a passionate time where there's so much emotion and an upheaval, and everything, is very dramatic in this time. Because it's a very volatile time, so it makes sense. But it's sad that you're not getting quite as much of that into this drama, because there are the holes that have always been there. They're just becoming blatantly obvious. And the pieces that are missing are starting to make it a little bit more painful as we're getting through. Still, I'm going to stick around with this, because there's no way I'm not going to watch this drama with every new episode and squeeze my way through the whole thing. That's just how I deal with life. This drama is my life. That is so lame to admit out loud. Whatever. There it is. I am lame. We always knew that, though. Okay, the last drama I'm going to talk about is Shopping King Louis. And honestly, this is the only drama that didn't disappoint me this week. There weren't a lot of surprises in this drama. A lot of what happened in these last 2 episodes it just made sense. Like, we knew Louis was not going to be dead. That when saw the guy creep in with the hammer and whack someone over the head, you knew that wasn't going to be Louis. I mean, this is episode 6 we're talking about. We're not going to have a dead main character. So Louis being okay didn't come as a surprise. He and Bokshil moving in Jungwon's apartment, also not a surprise. They needed somewhere to live. They're not allowed to go back into their apartment for obvious reasons, because there is a serial killer on the loose. Watching Jungwon suffer with his jealousy as he's watching Bokshil and Louis together and their moments, yes, also not a surprise, because he has feelings for her. They've been developing 4 episodes now, but he's still not at a point where he can admit that's really what it is he's feeling. So instead he just comes off as petty and grumpy, and all that grunting, he really needs to stop that. Just saying. What did that come as a surprise in this week's episodes is Louis' family discovering him on TV. It wasn't a surprise for us as viewers, but it was a surprise for his family, especially for his poor grandma. Now that they know that Louis is alive, they're going to start searching for him, and they've already sent Butler Kim out to track him down, which is actually a really good thing, because Butler Kim is like the most awesome person in the world, and his ability to read situations and find out things that are different and wrong. I love that about him, so I'm really hoping that it doesn't take him too much time to find Louis. I want Louis to be reunited with his family to help him get his memory back. Of course, it's going to take time for Butler Kim to find Louis, and in the meantime, he's run into Louis' uncle, and now that raises suspicions on Butler Kim's part. He knows that something isn't right here, that there's something going on that the uncle isn't telling other people. He just, he's Butler Kim, so he can read into situations more than what it's being said. So I like that he's starting to feel suspicious about this uncle. How that is going to affect the story as it moves on, I don't know. I really, really, really want Louis just to be found. I want his family, even if he doesn't get his memory back, just to know that there's more to him than what he is right now. Because it's still such a lost and very empty character. He has no background, and it makes him rather shallow, which I get that's part of his character. He's the rich boy who's never had to take on responsibility. He's been allowed to do whatever he wants, and that is coming through in his amnesiac self. Is that the right word? Anyway, in the self that he is right now, there's still a lot of his old self coming through, which makes sense because he's still the same person. He just doesn't remember who he is. But it's making life harder for him and Bokshil, and he needs to move beyond that. And I'm not sure if he can until he figures out where he's come from and where he's going. Of course, he still has a lot to learn from Bokshil, and so what he learns with her will affect how he becomes after he gets his memory back, or at least gets his family back. Even if he doesn't ever get his memory back, just having his family back will put him in a position where the life lessons that he learns with Bokshil will help make him a better person in this higher position of power, and hopefully that will work for the best. In the meantime, we have to deal with Louis being considered a murder suspect because he has no history and he has no way to prove his innocence. Of course, the detective and nobody really believes that Louis is a murderer except that one random police officer. But if somehow this being suspected as a murder could help Louis maybe jog some memories, I would be okay with that. I'd also be okay with Louis and Jungwon being jealous of the detective, because it's really obvious how cute the detective is when he's around Bokshil. Totally random and not really important at all. I just think it's really cute how the detective is so sweet, and I just love him. I wish he was a bigger character, but he's not. Let's move on. I do have to ask, does anyone think that Bokshil's brother really did die in the accident instead of Louis? I know that's what they're trying to push this off as. I don't know if I believe that yet. I don't know if it's because I just don't want to believe that, or if I think that there's someone else. I mean, obviously someone did die in that accident, and Louis and Bokshil's brother had met up before that, because, you know, Louis wearing Bokshil's brother's clothes. I don't want her brother to be dead. She needs family. She can't be all alone. And I know that she would have Louis and they can move on, but still, I don't want to take away that last bit of her family and what she has left. She has nothing else in this world except her brother. So to take that away, it's very painful. Is this really what happened? We still don't know for sure. I'm just really hoping that it's not, because I just would feel so awful for Bokshil. She's suffered so much already, and she's dealing with Louis. She should have something good happen for her, even if it's just knowing that her brother's not dead. Still, we don't know for sure, so we have to watch and find out. Also, I have to wonder, will Louis' shopping skills get him a job? Like a real job, and not just loading trucks and whining about how his muscles hurt? He needs a job. He needs to stop being such a drain on Bokshil. I would really like for him to take a position in the company. You know that that's probably what they're setting it up for, because they mentioned that they're going to have to bring in another part-timer to help carry the workload as they're getting ready for whatever new promotion or whatever it is that's going on. I can't remember exactly. But you know that opening, that's how Bokshil got her job, so I'm hoping that they can bring Louis in and he can start using his shopping skills to do something more productive than sit around and boss people around every day. He needs to stop doing that, and he needs to start contributing to this relationship. I get they have the mental and emotional support or whatever, but he needs to stop being a drain, so much of a drain on Bokshil in every other way. I want him to get a job at the company. I want him to use his shopping skills. I want him to excel at that. I'm hoping that maybe if he could get that job, it would also, again, help trigger some memories. I'm not sure how that would work, because he has been in Europe all this time, so it's not like he's actually been working in the company. But if there's just anything to get him around more people and more things that should at least trigger something somewhere, that would be nice. Again, maybe that's just a lot of wishful thinking, because I want Louis to move on from this phase that he's in and start growing and becoming more of the person he was before. Of course, changed because he's been with Bokshil and she's making him a better person. But if we could find some happy medium in between there, that would be great. Until then, we get a lot of very cute moments with Louis and Bokshil. I like how their relationship is going. They are perfect for each other and adorable in every way. They are just so cute. I love their chemistry together. I love them as an OTP. I ship them with all of my little finger heart. I think they are both fantastic. I want everything to work out for them. If any two people in the world deserve a sunshine and rainbow pony happy ending, it's these two. And that is really, really what I'm hoping for. I just hope we don't have to deal with a lot of nonsense before we get there. But this is a drama world where nonsense happens all the time, so I'll just take whatever I can get and enjoy the cute while it lasts. But I have rambled on way longer than I intended, so I'm going to end things here. I'll say thank you for joining me for my drama ramblings, and I hope you come back next week for more.